All right, we are celebrating the 100 days of Trump being in office. Now, we're celebrating for a lot of different reasons. One, the border is secured. Two, we don't have President Kamala Harris. And maybe you are tempted, understandably, to point out all the things we haven't gotten done, because it's a bunch of things we haven't gotten done. We haven't seen any real spending cuts. I know there's been some great Doge headlines, but we haven't seen any clawback in spending, nothing significant. I know we haven't seen mass deportation yet. I get it. I get it. I get that. But be happy. We're going to get to the Canadian election here. It's going to be in a little while, but think about this. They just went from a far lefty to someone else who's probably even further to the left, meaning they just got rid of their Joe Biden and their Kamala Harris just won the election. That could have been us. 4 years of Joe Biden's evil. I doubt you love everything Trump's done. I doubt you hate everything Trump's done unless you're deranged in one direction or the other. But this could be 100 days of Kamala Harris tearing this country apart as fast as she could. I'll take this 100 days. Now let's focus on something else, because part of the story out there today is Trump's falling poll numbers, his approval ratings. And don't do what you're tempted to do, what I'm tempted to do. It's just the polls lie. Stop with that. Are there polls out there that lie? Of course. There are polls paid for by the opposition, designed to lie. Yes, that's a really big thing. When you have several different polls from different sources all saying the same thing, they're not lying. It's an accurate reflection of the mood of the country. I see it in my own personal life, people with concerns about the tariffs, concerns about this, concerns about that. And that, of course, brings us to the American media. It's not going to be about Trump. We're not going to talk about Trump for an hour. Let's talk about the American media. Media Research Center looked into it. 92% of the mainstream media coverage of Donald Trump has been negative. Now, that's going to lead us perfectly into the whole 60 Minutes thing, but I want to remind you of why this happens in the country and how disastrous this is for the country. Corporate journalists, the media, think of the media as an institution, because it is an institution, a critically important institution. Think of it like it's a big skyscraper, right? And these people, first they go into journalism school, most of them. And in journalism school, they are, taught these stupid phrases like speak truth to power and things like that. And that's step one. That's getting people to buy in. Young, idealistic people, maybe they want to do the right thing. That's getting them to buy in. Hey, you want to do the right thing, right? Speak truth to power. Oh, yeah, sign me up. Once they get the buy-in, then they give them the other part of this. Well, Democrats and what they want, that's good. Republicans and what they want is evil. So, yes, you need to be a journalist, but remember, if you're really trying to do some good, you want to do some good, right? You said you wanted to do some good, you'll cover for Democrats and you'll attack Republicans. That's how they think. It's not that they think they're even on the left, lots of these people. They simply have had it ingrained in them that protecting Democrats is what they're supposed to do. Attacking Republicans, those evil Republicans, is what they're supposed to do. CBS, 60 Minutes. You do remember the scandal, right? Now let's just, for a quick moment, recap that scandal and how insane this whole thing is. 60 Minutes has been on the air for longer, I believe, than I have been alive. I think it's like the 60s or 70s it's been around. I'm 43 years old. As a child, I remember we had this TV in the living room, one of the ones with the wooden kind of frame around it. I know it was that old. I know I'm old. And to change the channel, it had like this knob that would click, 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 channel 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what it did. The knob would click. That's how old the TV was. And I remember as a small child seeing that 60 Minutes stopwatch thing, because my parents would sit down and watch it on occasion at night. That's how old 60 Minutes is. That's how established it is. But over the years, communists took it over like they do any revered institution, you see. And during the presidential election, these people who they think of themselves as not just journalists, the height of journalism. If you ask people who work on 60 Minutes, they would consider it the top of journalism. Kamala Harris sat down for an interview and looked so terrible, did so terribly, couldn't answer anything. You remember what a moron she was. That 60 Minutes actually spliced up the interview in different ways, cutting it. Let's remove that, put this here to try to ensure that she looked better than she actually did. And keep in mind, this isn't some nameless, faceless person. A person, most likely more than one, sat down with videotape and said, oh, cut that out. She looked bad there. Hey, take that answer from there and put it over there. And that person thought they were the good guy while they were doing it. That's how sick these people are. That's how they think. And now their executive producer got bounced because CBS is in the middle of a huge lawsuit with Donald Trump. Trump is suing them for the lies they told. Here's what the CBS anchors think about it.
In tonight's Last Minute, a note on Bill Owens, who until this past week was executive producer of 60 Minutes. Bill resigned Tuesday. It was hard on him and hard on us, but he did it for us and you. Stories we pursued for 57 years are often controversial. Lately, the Israel-Gaza war and the Trump administration. Bill made sure they were accurate and fair. He was tough that way. But our parent company, Paramount, is trying to complete a merger. The Trump administration must approve it. Paramount began to supervise our content in new ways. None of our stories has been blocked, but Bill felt he lost the independence that honest journalism requires. No one here is happy about it, but in resigning, Bill proved one thing. He was the right person to lead 60 Minutes all along.
That communist took his position at 60 Minutes and tried to make sure the Democrat won the election, and that's his send-off. Now, these people, the American media, they lied to us for 4 years. It's not a scandal I'm going to let go of, the fact that we had a non-functional American president for 4 years. For 4 years, the American media covered for the fact that the American president was not a functional adult. 4 years they made believe.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
The beer brewed here, it is used to make the brew beer in this refinery. Oh, Earth Rider, thanks for the Great Lake. And I had a nurse named Pearl Nelson, military. She'd come in and do things that I don't think you learn in medical school, nursing school. She'd whisper in my ear. I couldn't understand her. She'd whisper, she'd lean down. She'd actually breathe on me to make sure that there was a connection, a human connection. End of quote. Repeat the line. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping.
They didn't see. That's what they're trying to tell us now. They didn't see. Or it wasn't their fault. You see, that they were being lied to. It's not their fault.
President Biden's decline and its cover-up by the people around him is a reminder that every White House, regardless of party, is capable of deception. But being truth tellers also means telling the truth about ourselves. We, myself included, missed a lot of this story. And some people trust us less because of it. We bear some responsibility for faith in the media being at such lows.
I think the reporters covering this White House were too willing to take the Biden team's word for it.
This is not a media failure. This is a failure of the Democratic Party. And I just sort of the virtue signaling that some people have done to try to say that the media missed this story. They didn't miss this story. The people at fault are Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Jill Biden, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, every elected member of Congress.
Yeah, what they're doing here, it's important you don't let them get away with it, you see. This is actually the whole point of our talk. It's really important you don't let the media get away with what they're trying to do. Because here's the reality, and the media knows this is the reality. They didn't miss the story. That's the fallback position. That's what they want you to believe. They didn't miss the story. They were well aware of Joe Biden's decline, but because they view their role as being the protectorate of Democrats, they covered up for it. They didn't miss anything. They actively covered it up. And now, well, they study all the poll numbers too, public opinion polls too. Now they see public trust in the media, which was already low, is virtually non-existent now. I'm talking about the corporate media, the CBSs of the world. The public doesn't watch anymore. The only demographic that even watches those kind of channels anymore, very, very old and dying off. Not being mean, it just is. That their audience is getting smaller and smaller as the public trust is gone, completely gone. The media now, what they're doing, they're trying to cover for themselves, only they understand they can't cover it up completely. So instead of saying, hey, we were complicit in a cover-up, we're the reason America didn't know he had dementia before he even got elected, sorry about that. Instead, what they're trying to do is sell you on, it's not quite as bad as you think it is. So the fallback position is, well, hey, look, the White House lied. And I mean, we screwed up. We shouldn't have believed the White House. They definitely lied, but it was their fault. And I guess we were too trusting. We're such good people that we were trusting. And no. You knew. You mean to tell me that I knew. I knew about Joe Biden's cognitive decline because I have eyes and ears. You knew. You mean to tell me you and I knew? And the people who live, work, and worship within a mile of Joe Biden for 4 years, it went right by them? Of course not. They knew. They covered it up. And I don't know how we fix where we are as a country, but this is a very, very difficult place to be when the American media has picked a side and they're activists for that side. Tough to wade through it. We'll figure it out, all right? All that may have made you uncomfortable, but I am right. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're going to start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.